Hi, welcome to Take a Break, Take a Breath for Friday, January 7th. I'm Rick Boyer, the pastor of Prospect Presbyterian Church, and Take a Break, Take a Breath is an invitation to pause in your day, to just breathe and center yourself in God who made you and loves you and calls you by name. We're going to work our way through the Gospel of Luke with the sessions for a while, and we're going to use a particular kind of Bible reading where we place ourselves in the text as a way of doing our meditations. Today we're looking at the story of Zechariah and Elizabeth and the angel Gabriel, when the angel Gabriel comes to tell Zechariah that his wife is going to have a baby, and that baby is going to have the spirit of Elijah and be the one who prepares the way for the Messiah. So the text unfolds like this. We meet Zechariah and Elizabeth, and we're told that they were on in years, that he was of the family of the house of David, and that they were very faithful people, even though they did not have any children. Then we're told that Elijah, or rather Zechariah, his group has their turn in the worship place, and they take turns bringing incense in the sanctuary, in the holiest place, and only one person at a time goes in there, and everyone else stands outside while that's going on. And so he goes in and he makes his offering, and when he's there he meets the angel Gabriel, and the angel Gabriel tells him that he's going to have a child, and he questions that, and because he questions that, he's told that he will not be able to speak until all of those things take place. Then we're told when he comes out, he's not able to talk, so he's waving his arms and all kinds of motions, but he can't communicate what he knows. So Elizabeth does indeed get pregnant, and she stays in seclusion for the first 5 months, and says that God reflects that God has blessed her and redeemed her from the disgrace of all of these years. So if you haven't already done so, I invite you to go to a quiet place and settle into a chair and get comfortable, and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you breathe in the breath of God. And as you breathe out all that separates you from God. As you breathe in the breath of life. And as you breathe out all that does not give you life. As you breathe in God's peace. And as you breathe out all of your worries and fears and anxieties and all those things that disturb your peace. Keep breathing deeply. Breathe in God's Spirit, God's breath. Breathe out all the stuff that separates you from God. And imagine that the peace and presence of God is flowing over you. Imagine it like water from a shower running down over your head. And as the presence of God washes over your head, your mind gets calm and still. Your face relaxes. Your jaw unclenches. And as the peace of God washes down over your neck, the tension in the muscles of your neck unwind. And as the peace of God washes down over your shoulders and your arms and drips off the end of your hands, the muscles relax in your arms and your hands open up. As the peace of God rolls down your back. The tired muscles in your back are renewed and refreshed, and the aches are melted away. As it rolls down over your chest, your breathing is deep and steady, and your heart rate is at a slow, calm, resting pace. As it washes down, as the peace of God washes down over your belly, the upsets in your belly are calmed. And then it washes down over your legs, all the way to the tip of your big toe. The peace of God as it moves over your legs, feet, there is renewal and refreshment. And then in your mind's eye now, picture yourself as one of the characters in the reading today from Luke. You can be Zechariah, the old man who gets to go in and offer incense. You can be someone in the crowd who is waiting outside. You can be Elizabeth. You can be Gabriel, the angel, the messenger of God. Who do you want to be? Ready? Okay, now hear the story. Watch the story in front of you from the perspective of the person you have chosen to be. There was a couple named Elizabeth and Zechariah. They were up in years, and they were people of good faith, but they never had children. And so they were not feeling the best about that, because children were a sign of God's blessing in those days. Zechariah was a descendant in the family of David, so he was a good man, and Elizabeth was a person of good faith. Zechariah was part of the group the priests who took care of God's house, and it came to the group that he was a part of, it came to be their turn to be in the house of God and to take care of it. And it came to be Zechariah's turn to be the one who offered incense in the sanctuary, and only one person went into the sanctuary at a time. And so, as the crowd always does, they gathered around the outside waiting while Zechariah went in and offered the incense on the altar. And as he was making that offering, there on the right side of the altar was the angel Gabriel, and he announces himself, excuse me, and he tells Zechariah that his wife is going to have a baby, and that this baby will have the spirit of Elijah, that he will bring parents back to their children, that he will prepare the way for the coming of the Messiah, that even before he is born, the Spirit of God will be in him. Well, Zechariah says to Gabriel, "How can this be? I'm an old man. My wife is getting on in years." Gabriel says, "I stand in the presence of God, and I was sent here to bring this message to you. How can you question me? Since you did, you are going to be mute until the day that this is all true." Now, the people outside were wondering why Zechariah was delayed. They didn't know what was going on. And when Zechariah comes out, he can't speak. He waves his arms and tries to explain what happened, but I don't think he was very successful at that. And pretty soon, the words of Gabriel come true. Elizabeth is expecting a child. And she stays inside for a while, just thinking about how God has blessed her and removed the disgrace of all these years from her among her people. As you heard the story from the perspective of the person that you chose, did you notice anything different? What would you like to say to God as you reflect on this story? I'll be quiet while you reflect for a few minutes. So as you finish up your reflection and your conversation with God, bring yourself back to the room where you are. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Let's take a break, take a breath for Friday, January 7th. I encourage you to go back to that story. It's Luke 1, 5-25, and read through it again several times, each time taking a different character in the story and listening and reading the story from the perspective of that character, and see what it is God might be saying to you as you listen through the eyes and as you watch the story through the eyes of the different people. If you have feedback for me or you want to pray together, send an email to rick@prospectchurch.org.